Hello, good night, dear teacher Alexandra. I hope this video finds you well. Well, the purpose of this video is to give you a little feedback on your performance of your last two classes that you were so kind to lend me in. So remember, in the first part of the project, I was able to attend your class. Remember, I don't know if you have memory of the class, but the day you asked the students to work on a module of the English Please book, and some key points that I want to highlight about it is that they were working on producing content in an oral and written form, which allows students to practice in a real context like the contents, and also allows them to be the center of the learning process, as well to reflect on how to have healthy habits while at the same time improve their English skills. However, like some things I just wanted to point it out that I pointed the day that I did the feedback to you. It is important to keep in mind to share the objective of the class at the beginning and also review it at the end. And from that day, I observed that you didn't promote like collaborative type tasks. So that was one of the other aspects that I highlighted that day. And if you remember, we decided that your focus for the next class that I would observe would be the students' English level and the use of the English curriculum. And I added to this topic formative assessment practices, okay? Okay, so now let's continue talking about the last class I attended. Remember, at the beginning of the class, you set the agenda. You set out the activities and the objectives, keeping in mind the Bloom taxonomy that I had recommended before, which made you a very good improvement compared to the first class. Nonetheless, I want to point out that you are a great teacher. Like it's been really a pleasure to work with you. Like I've been talking to you since the beginning of the project, and you have given me a lot of support on how to put in practice the strategies suggested for the project. So thank you, I appreciate, and I admire the effort, despite that we know we have some difficulties at the school to do so. So let's continue talking about your class. So remember that the class objective was the students were going to develop fluency in English by the use of communicative activities, true or lie, rank everything. And in second purpose, the students were going to use some expressions to organize their ideas to be expressed orally, which leads them to know, the students at the beginning, what they're going to do and what is the purpose of the activity. Not only like today we're going to work on present perfect and that's it, but actually the purpose, like in this case, for example, to develop more fluency in the second language. And that also is aligned with the goal that we set up for the proyecto de acción institucional that we created in the second part of the project. Okay, and then after you announce the agenda, the date, and the objective, you gave them a proverb. I don't know if you remember, but the proverb was the excellence is the result of the process. So it's very aligned with the suggested, or very well aligned with the suggested curriculum that wants students not only think of their acquisition of the second language, but also to be connected emotionally with their lives, like having English as a tool to be more empowered, better citizens, and definitely giving them this proverb at the beginning and connected to the class. It is following that process or that aim. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, we decided to work on 3 main areas. The area number 1 we focus on was the use of English of students. Okay, so remember you a teacher, in the first part of the class, you did 2 activities that were focused on speaking and the speaking skill, and the last one was a listening. The first one was to see an image of true or lie, where you listed some of activities or some statements and to ask students if they think they were true or false. Remember, you write, my name is Alexandra. I absolutely love Instagram. I adore watching movies. I have been teaching for many years. And of course, this one I would know as well is absolutely love Instagram is the one that is a lie. And if you analyze these 4 sentences, it seems that they will understand easily the task which happened. All of them were able to participate and understand what was the task. Okay, then the other second activity that you did that day was the speaking about the list of what are the things that normally students at the school like the most, according to a survey that you made up. And all of them were able to work collaboratively, and if they didn't have in mind a word, they were able to use the dictionary, which is also a very good thing that you promote the use of their dictionary, that they bring it to class, and it's like a habit, and you always make that a routine at the beginning of the class, which leads them to use that tool to improve their amount of vocabulary. However, the last one, remember, was when you started connecting the video about London. And in this part, as I told you that day, maybe you could have used a material that is more according to their English level. It was a bit hard, especially because it's British English, which maybe they're not as familiarized as with the American English. One thing that you could do if we want to use real material like this one is in YouTube, there is this function where you can make the speed of the video a little lower, or like a material that I suggested that day that I sent you via WhatsApp, that is this British Council audio that has a similar topic about a tour of London and is more, maybe a little bit more appropriate. I want to highlight that you at the beginning show the video and then went back to video and pause it so the students could do the understanding and by pausing it. But maybe other idea is to put the transcript that is in YouTube, or try to find material that is more or closer to their English level. Now, let's talk about the second aspect, that is the use of the curriculum, that suggested curriculum, and how it's being adapted in your class. I want to highlight that the first class I observed, you took the material from English Please. And in this case, you were also able to reflect on their own ways of living, their own likes, within the list that you created. So that makes them connect English with their own context, right? Now, the last subject is, or the last focus area is the formative assessment practices. In that case, I want to highlight that you were all the time performing, checking for understanding routines. However, maybe you could do that in different ways, not only saying, do you guys understand what you need to do? But maybe asking somebody to repeat what is the task about, or what are the instructions about. And also, it was nice to see that you systematically were monitoring what they were doing and if they had any questions. And you saw this as an opportunity to make the speed faster or slower for the class. For example, in the first part about the true or lie activities, you realized at the beginning that they weren't quite understanding what they needed to do. And you went back and made more examples, as well as you monitored in the groups what they were doing and if they were actually completing the tasks as they were supposed to. Then the activity 2, the top 10 things you like about the school. A change I would make there is maybe I would suggest them to do their own list first and then give them my list, or the one you created. Like not to influence their answers in advance. And from the part of the listening, well, I already told you that part, that I will make it easier to understand with another audio. Maybe that was a nice material, but maybe it was probably more for students that are at a B1 or even B2 level. And well, I think that will be it. Another thing would be just at the end, even though at the beginning you set the objectives, at the end we could also like reflect, okay, so today's purpose was to do this. With this activity, we were able to improve our English fluency because blah, blah, blah. Yes, like before you send them to the break or to the next class, like the last 3 minutes, try to recall on what you did. And that will be it, but I was very happy to attend your class. It is a very nice group. You have a very good or well class management strategy. So they really connect on what you're doing despite of their age, like they are in 11th grade and they're pretty much thinking about graduating and everything else. But studying, sometimes you do it very well. So keep it up, teacher, and I hope next year when we continue with the project, you can have these little suggestions I gave you to keep improving in your teaching practices. So thank you so much and have a nice day now that you're watching the video. Bye-bye.